Hey, what's up, gang? Welcome back. Sorry for no video last week. It's a rough one last week. I'm going to do a quick review of the EX9 set. Go card by card, let you guys know my thoughts and kind of how the cards work, as well as any specific rulings. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them as well as I can. Again, the training mechanic is a little new, but we do have word from Bandai now, a little info blurb. But for those of you who've never seen my set reviews, I know it's been a while since I've done one actually. I typically go by color, and then I also narrow further down by a line. So the cards are obviously meant to work together. I'll tend to stick with those ones. Otherwise, I'll probably just be doing color. A lot of the versions here, that one doesn't have actually a version. This one should have a version yet. Version 1 and stuff, I probably won't be just specifically talking about version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5, just because of the fact that I do not know what cards are version 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 off the top of my head. So I'll be learning which ones technically synergize together as well during this video. But for cards like Negamon, for example, I will be just doing the whole Negamon line when we get to it. But until then, starting off with the eggs. So for those of you who don't know, this set is based off of the original Digimon monster, digital monster, pocket monster, Tamagotchi-esque devices that we had back in the day. When Digimon first came out, and so version 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, based off of the iterations of which they came out, I believe. So starting off for our first Digimon, we got Koromon. The egg, when attacking once per turn, the Digimon may Digivolve with Digimon with face down Digivolution cards may Digivolve into a version 1 trait Digimon card in hand with the Digivolution trait reduced by 1. So this is a really good egg. This is an obscenely good egg for what the face down DM trait archetypes will obviously want to be doing. I think all of the eggs are exceptionally powerful for what they want to be doing, and these are kind of, unfortunately, the biggest payoffs that you will have for having face down Digivolution cards. All the other ones that I've seen up to this point, which again my mind can change depending on what I read, haven't really been focused on those cards that much, in all honesty. So the eggs are going to be your biggest payoff. Just getting a one attacking effect, Digivolve for 1 less into one of your version 1 trait Digimon. Really, really good, especially if you can use it as a means of cheating out an extra attack, basically giving you pseudo blitz with one of your more powerful level 6 or level 5 version 1 Digimon that also get benefits like end of attack or get some powerful battle benefits when swinging. Moving into the Agumon here, on play reveal top 3 cards. Among them, add 1 card with the DM trait, and then place 1 card, add it to hand, and then place 1 card with the version 1 trait face down as the bottom Digivolution card of any of your Digimon with the DM trait. Return the rest to the bottom of the deck. So this card is really good. I think all the rookies are actually very powerful because they are pseudo double searchers in a way. Though, again, from my understanding, aside from the eggs, there's not too much power in the face down card mechanic. They may need to release some more support for that in the future, but I doubt they'll do that outside of another dedicated set without maybe just some sparse support here and there. Otherwise, it is a double searcher, which is really good, and it'll hit most of your archetypes, as well as they are versatile in the sense that any of these rookies can be played outside of this version 1 trait list because they can search DM, and all of them will have the DM trait, meaning that you can search them to hand, but you will not be adding face down cards, which you may not even care about on a rookie that you played for 3, unless you're trying to get use this as a way to get a face down card underneath a different Digimon you currently control. Next up, we've got Biyomon. This guy doesn't have training actually, but this guy does. Biyomon, just training. So training just says basically you can suspend this Digimon in the main phase, and then just place the top card of your deck, you face down, right underneath as the bottom Digivolution source. So if you have an egg underneath you, you'll put it underneath the egg. If you don't, then it'll just go right at the bottom. Something unique about this effect is that it can be used inside the breeding area, meaning that you can continuously stack trainings over time, progressing some kind of game plan. I don't know what that game plan is. However, one of the benefits of a lot of these rookies are they're all really good inherited effects. They all have really, really strong inherited effects. While this one doesn't have a good main effect like the other Agumon, it has just raid, raw, nothing else. Just gives you a raid, and that's fantastic, especially for a lot of red decks. Being able to just place raid on one of your Digimon feels great. I forgot to mention that this one just gives plus 2k on your turn. Obviously, a completely okay inheritable effect. You'd much rather prefer a all turns at this point, but your turn is completely okay. Then moving on to the Greymon, it has training as well. Then when attacking once per turn, by placing the top card's top face down as this Digimon's face down Digivolution card, this Digimon gets plus 1k for each of its face down Digivolution sources until the end of turn. So the obvious synergy here is swinging with this, get the one attacking of the Greymon, and then proc the egg to then Digivolve again. And even if this didn't have the time to do a training, in order to get cards underneath, its one attacking will proc it by itself, which will then proc the egg, which is really good. Whether or not it's good enough, I don't know, per se. But we guess we will have to wait and see as we see the rest of the line. This is a version 5 card. I think the version 5 have a little bit more unique synergy together, so I'm going to save the Tuskmon for a little bit later. Going into the Metal Greymon, when this card is played, when this card would be played by trashing one Cyborg or one version 1 trait card from your hand, reduce the play cost by 2. This synergizes with all of the Machinedramon stuff currently in the set. There's a lot of like Cyborg Machinedramon support, and so all of the Cyborgs will have like this, like all of the Machinedramon specific Cyborgs will have this like little trait here, so I won't bring them up in the future. On play with Digirolling, by placing one Digimon card from your trash face down in its bottom Digivolution source, delete up to 5,000 total DP of your opponent's Digimon. For each of this Digimon's face down Digivolution cards, add 2k DP to this maximum. So if we use this in the line, you know, we maybe even like had the time to play out the Agumon and it lives, so we got a source underneath it. Then we Digivolve, or no, actually we wouldn't even be able to do that because it's an on play effect. So promote the Agumon, Digivolve for 2 into the Greymon, swing in, get the card, use the egg, Digivolve for 2 into the Metal Gray, get the card, you can delete up to a 9k Digimon, which is nice. That's definitely not bad, and obviously if you keep the Greymon in the back, you can train a little bit more for a little bit more safety as well, and that's pretty good. And then if you have the actual line underneath, it'll have plus 4k DP as well. So it's a pretty chunky lab, but I mean that's what we've come to expect from Red, especially from the Greymon lines. And the all arts are actually really nice. I think this all art is really cool. I much prefer this one. I love the little chibi versions of them. I also like their like kind of callbacks in a way to the older Digimon cards, and they really remind me of that one opening scene in, was it Tamers? It may have been Tamers. Whatever the third season is with the Growlmon and whatnot, where you see the two Digimon fighting in like the digital plane. I thought that was very cute. Moving on, we do have new adventure support in the set, which I think there's not like a huge amount of it, so we'll just include them in the colors. Metal Greymon for a cost of 1, or Adventure Greymon level 4 for a cost of 3. On play with Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8k or less DP. Then one of your Digimon or Tamers with the Garurumon or Taikamiya in its name are played, or any of your Digimon Digivolve into a Digimon with Garurumon in name. This Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Greymon in name in the hand without paying the cost. Really good card. Really, really good card, in fact. I think this will see play in Adventure, to an extent at least. Maybe not the Alterius mode, but a very similar effect being on the Sagittarius mode, I think will for sure see some play. They're already playing a lot more with the Werguru half of the deck anyways. I know that people really don't like the Ace Wargray, but this card also plays double duty in the fact that it works very well with the Blitz Greymon package and the old EX4 Omnimon Alter S stuff. Being able to just cheat out a free level 6 really easily feels fantastic. Speaking of the Alter S stuff, we've got Cyborg DM version 1, so this obviously synergizes as well with the version 1 set stuff as well as the DM stuff, but it also works with all the stuff from the EX4 set with the Alterus, Omnimon, and Alter B. Very, very good card. I think this is exactly what the deck was lacking, which is a cheap, strong, really good way of DNAing that also has an on-play effect that you're able to spit back out really easily. So it's got Alliance Blocker, it's an ace, so it can counter on top of, you know, your red or black Digimon. It can Digivolve for 3 on top of a DM trait or a Greymon. On play with Digivolving, Digivolve 3, one of your opponent's Digimon. Great effect. Black, you know, just continuing to be the best way to Digivolve your opponent's Digimon. And then end of turn, 2 of your Digimon, it doesn't specify which ones, not even necessarily this one, which I think is a very key thing, may Digivolve into Omnimon Alter S in hand. It is unfortunate that does specify that. However, it makes sense that it does specify the name because it does not specify the original Digimon in hand. Then one of your Digimon may attack. Again, doesn't specify what Digimon. I think there's a lot of really cute things you can do with the stuff given to you. Even just using the Omnimon Alter S as a removal spell by DNAing 2 guys and then making one of your other Digimon that couldn't have attacked prior because of like maybe ace potential and stuff like that, being able to swing in. I think that's really, really cool. I think just having a little bit more open-endedness would have made this probably one of the most broken cards I've ever read, but limiting it to Omnimon Ultra S, I think really heavily future-proofs it, which is super good. Super, super good. We love balance in this household. I don't personally, because I would have loved for this not to exist, but that's okay. That's okay. Otherwise, I think this card's crazy. It also has security +1 as an inherit. Fantastic card. No notes. I think it's beautiful. It'll probably see some play in the deck of its choice, as well. I can imagine these cards seeing used, somewhere else, hypothetically, maybe Dark Masters. I don't know. Smiles. I'm making a list currently. I've been testing it religiously. But that is the immediate red stuff. We'll cover the Omnimon Ultra S stuff specifically when we get to the Omnimon Ultra S. We'll go over the Tamer 2 when it happens. Other than that, I don't think there's any specific red Tamer. So yeah. We'll do the option card while we're here, actually. So just 2 cost. If we have a DM trait Digimon or Tamer on field, you can ignore this card's color requirements, making most of the options available to you in this set pretty much multicolored, as long as you're playing with cards from this set. It may just draw 1, so it just replaces itself. Draw 1 for 2 memory, and then by placing 1 card from your hand face down as any of your DM trait Digimon's Digivolution cards, it may Digivolve into a DM trait Digimon card in hand with the Digivolution trait cost reduced by 2. It's just a training. It's an in-archetype training. It's not bad. Security effect, draw 1 and place a card in the battle area. I think it's okay. It's definitely not bad. Whether or not it's actually good enough, I think it just depends on how well the DM trait archetype makes use of having face down Digivolution cards. If there's a card that really cares about it and can make use of it really well, obviously this becomes like a better training for the archetype. But if there's no deck that really makes use of it in a meaningful way, I think it's just like an extra copy of training that's like kind of a little bit worse. But moving on, let's move on to version 2s, guys. Version 2s. We've got Sunomon. Actually, let me pause the video real quick so that way I can make sure my mic's working, just to double check, because I've had this happen before where it stops working. Okay, great. Mic is working. Fantastic. Anyways, like I was saying, back to Sunomon. Your turn. When face down cards are placed in these sources, this Digimon may Digivolve into a version 2 trait card in the hand with the Digivolution cost reduced by 1. Obviously, like I said, fantastic card. Just really, really good. Especially just being able to promote your level 4, because I think most level 4s have training on them, and then immediately suspending it to Digivolve for 1 less into a level 5, usually going to be about like a 2 cost. Fantastic. Really, really good. Onto the blue, we've got the version 2 Gabu. It's the exact same as the Agu, except this one gives jamming and works with version 2s instead of version 1s. I think you're version 5, yep, so we'll save you for later. And then this is a version 1 card. As mentioned prior, it works with the Agumon stuff, technically. It's their training, it gives them jamming. And then all of the, I think, level 3s Digivolve for 0 off of any DM trait egg, so you can play any of the eggs here. They're all pretty interchangeable, luckily. However, the eggs require their specific numbers to actually work. So it needs the Koromon needs version 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to actually proc their effects. So that's something really important to keep in mind. Otherwise, yeah, it just gives jamming for the archetype, and then same as the Biomon, just gives training. We've got the version 2 Garurumon here, training on play when Digivolving by placing 1 card in your hand face down as the bottom Digivolution source. For each of its face down cards, trash any 1 Digivolution card from your opponent's Digimon. A completely okay card. Completely okay. I give it the same, like, I think I put it a little bit lower than the Greymon, because the Greymon allowed you to Digivolve, or not allowed you to Digivolve, but allowed you to pump yourself. I think trashing sources is a little bit less valuable in the current meta, just because most players either will have Digimon that have like no sources, like Royal Knights, or decks like Megidra will just completely kill themselves prior to you being able to strip their sources, which is unfortunate. But if the meta does change and shift with this, there's actually a pretty good shot of this being useful, like especially against, like, say, the Ultra S deck. Being able to strip the aces for just like 5 makes this a 1 cost play effect in actuality, which is really, really good. And then moving on to the metal Mamemon. As mentioned prior, to have the cyborg element to it on play when Digivolving by placing one Digimon card from your trash face down as his bottom Digivolution source. One of your opponent's Digimon from one of your opponent's Digimon trash one Digivolution card. Anyone, not a specific one, any single one that you would like. For each of its face down Digivolution sources, then return one of their Digimon with no Digivolution sources to the bottom of the deck. A really good card, actually. I really like this card a lot. It being able to work so well as a removal piece in Machine Run is fantastic, and then it also working, synergizing with the already, like, your source stripping identity in the EX9 blue set. I think it fits pretty nicely. This is also one that gets really nice all art we'll get to in a second, but end of turn, one of your Digimon unsuspends, setting up blocker. So you can be aggressive without having to give up any of your defensive potential, which is also nice. Here's the all art that I prefer, and here's his other all art, which, by the way, I think this one is sick. I think this one looks fantastic. So I think I prefer this one a little bit more than the chibi version, unfortunately, even though the chibi one is really cute with him being happy here and then fucking showing death here. I like that they do that to represent, they always have like this like edgy fantasy of like Digimon being like cute, cuddly, but also like horrifying, like eldritch monsters in some way that will kill you on sight. So, you know. Moving on, we've got another adventure support card, which the Gurumon or adventure trait for a cost of 3, or top of Wegurumon for 1. On play, when Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers can't suspend until their turn ends. Pretty good defensive utility card. Moving away from the like traditional Wegurumon OTK, as we've seen for the last couple sets, they're really trying to push away from just swinging multiple times into your opponent and killing them. So this card is providing a bit more of that by saying, hey, how about we just stun our opponent? Let's not kill them, but let's not let them kill us either. And then your turn, whenever your Digimon has the exact same effect as the Metal Greymon Alturius mode. However, just replace the name Tai with Matt and replace the name Gurumon with Greymon. And then going to the Crest Gurumon Ace. On play, when Digivolving, it's got Alliance and Blocker as well. On play when Digivolving, return one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon to the bottom of the deck. Decent removal. Obviously, it being limited to level 5 makes it a lot worse, in my opinion, and I think it has the weaker on-play effect by itself, but it synergizes very well with the Blitzcray. And then all turns, when any of your level 6 Digimon would leave the battle area, other than battle, 2 of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve into Omnimon Alter S in the hand. Now, a couple of key notes here. When any of your level 6 Digimon, not this one, not Blitzcray, any of them will leave the battle area, other than specifically battle. That's a really good effect. It's very similar to like the Miraculous Knight from, I think it was BT17 with the Omni Ace stuff, being able to protect yourself, or the 2 cost from Janitor card for Imperial, where that one says whenever this card would be deleted in battle, instead you can Digivolve it. So being able to just go straight into a removal spell immediately feels good. These are big bodies, so even beating over them is a little bit difficult for some decks without either weakening them some way or just Royal Knights being Royal Knights. However, it also specifies 2 of your Digimon may Digivolve into an Omnion Alter S in hand, which is unfortunate. But both the Alter S are really good at either protecting you with the new Alter S being immune to Digimon effects from your opponent and board wiping their highest levels, or the other one removing a 8k or less and then removing a level 6 or higher, and then whenever it would be removed by anything except for your own effect, I believe, it can then spit these guys back out. Really good there. However, as I've been yapping, I'm curious if any of you picked up, when any of your Digimon leave the battle area, other than battle, 2 of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve into Omnimon Alter S in hand. There's a key text here, which is except by your own effect. Except by your own effect. That card, that's missing. This immediately unlocks so much degeneracy. Just speaking purely from like Royal Knights as an example, not Royal Knights, speaking from Dark Masters as an example, if we look at Blitzcray, 2 of your Digimon at end of turn may DNA Digivolve into Omnimon Alter S in hand, then one of your Digimon may attack. Okay, that's pretty good, and it's like the typical way you would expect for the DNA to actually happen. However, in Dark Masters, if you have, I don't know, let's say kept turn, you have the Kreskurumon, you have the another red source, like let's say medieval, and you have another level 6 and a Dark Master level 5, which is a completely possible board. There's not like a weird, like, oh, well, that's never going to happen. Like, this is just a pure hypothetical that I'm setting up for you that is one possible, because I've done it in testing. What can happen is you delete the other level 6 with the end of turn effect of the Dark Masters. Even if you aren't putting a card in raising, you can still just choose delete. When that would delete the card, you can place these two together. Mind you, that was with 3 level 6s, so you still get a card in the back, and then you take the medieval and the crest and you put them together to make a new card. You can do that with just these two. The only reason I specified that is because I'm not sure about the Dark Master ruling of how if the card has to be deleted or not, so that's why I specified it here. But assuming that, let's say, even if you didn't need the card in the back, you don't need the Dark Master in the back, you can still attempt to pop the crest. The crest would then instead DNA your cards together into an Alter S, immediately getting you a level 6. So even if you would have passed turn by like hard playing the crest with the medieval on board, this then allows you to, in some ways, enact like a Blitzgreymon effect. With the end of turn, the only thing you're lacking is the when attacking. But if you're going into say like the old Alter S, that's completely okay because it's still a body on field that if your opponent attempts to remove, period, by the way, not even just like through effect, but if it's removed in any way, shape, or form, it immediately spits out the Kreskurumon ace from your field. If you leave the Kreskurumon and the medieval on board and you attempt to not use this effect, your opponent still can't remove the medieval or you without triggering this effect. It's a really, really strong defensive effect from everything I've tested. It's really, really gross. The only downside of these two cards is that you have to have Alter S's in hand, and both Alter S's, I think, are fine pieces. It's more so the protection and utility that they provide between these two cards, I think, makes them obscenely powerful. So I'm trying to crack a deck working with these like Dark Masters to some extent that I think will synergize really well, but again, we will see. We'll come back to the Alter S in a little bit. That was all of the blue Digimon. Let's go ahead and do the protein, and then we'll come back to the Alter S. So, protein, obviously you can use this option if you have a DM, Trade Digimon, or Tamer. Draw one, same as meat, except for this one. By trashing one of your DM Trade Digimon's bottom 2 face-down Digivolution cards, it unsuspends. This card is really interesting. There's not another card like it, and this is a pseudo payoff for exactly what we mentioned prior, which is those face down Digivolution sources cards. Being able to like accrue them throughout the game, getting incremental advantages, and then using a protein or two to swing 3 times is really gross and backbreaking. If you set this up and promote just like a level 5 or 6, and being able to get also multiple when attacking effects that aren't once per turn, like we've mentioned before, this one's a once per turn. And then there's another one attacking. But, you know, you could technically get when attacking effects that aren't once per turn, technically, if you could find some of those. I haven't seen any of those yet, but... Anyways, let's talk about the new Tamer. So the tie in Matashita, just on play, you can return one Greymon, Grumon, or Omnimon card from your trash to your hand. If it didn't, draw a card. Really good. Just a good card. You can play it early, just draw one for cycle, which is completely fine. Or you can add back certain pieces. This also works with all of the prior Greymon and Grumon and Omnimon cards. So it works backwards compatibility, which I really appreciate from, I'm gonna say Konami, from Bandai, when they actually put in the effort to make cards work with cards from the past, rather than just making a completely new archetype out of the ones that we've seen prior. I do really appreciate that. I think it's a lot more fun for like building potential. And then all turns, when any of your Digimon are played or Digivolved. So, again, all turns. Whenever they're played or Digivolved. Not just the Crest or the Blitz. Meaning, like, if you ace someone on your opponent's turn and you happen to have a Greymon and a Grumon on field, you can proc this guy. And then for each of those names that you have, you gain a memory. So if you have a Greymon, you gain 1. If you have a Grumon, you also gain 1. So you gain upwards of 2. Very, very good for stealing turn. If your opponent gets rid of your old Alter S, you play out these two, you get both of their on plays, so Digivolve 3, bottom deck a level 5, and then you can also proc your tie and mats. which is disgusting. It also works very well with Zwart. Digivolving for 6 into Zwart usually passes your turn, but if you have 2 of these tamers out, that's 4 memory you're getting back. It's actually obscene. It's obscene what this card actually can do, and it is a powerhouse. Downside, obviously, is because it's so powerful, it is a 4-cost tamer. I'm honestly surprised it's not a 5-cost tamer, which I am grateful for. It is a decent early game play. It can give you some cards back as well in the later game if you need some, like, recursion. Obviously, though, later in the game, you're not really going to want to be playing this guy out for 4. Unfortunately, you're also, in the archetypes that you will be playing it, you're going to be wanting to try and find ways to cheat this guy out as much as you can. And then finally, the piece de la resistance, the new Alter S. When digivolving, if DNA digivolving, your opponent's Digimon don't affect this Digimon, effects don't affect this Digimon for the turn. So not until the end of their turn, unfortunately. So it's only good for like preventing like aces and stuff happening in the immediate turn that you're digivolving into this guy. Mind you, going into him on your opponent's turn is really good because it board wipes their highest level. It board wipes their highest level no matter what, even if you just raw digivolve this for 5. However, it is not a card you want to sit on from my testing so far. Like, you don't want to go into an Alter S using the Blitzcrank effect and then not use its end of attack. Which is end of attack says you may play 1 card with Greymon in its name or version 1 trait and 1 card with Grumamon in its name or version 2 trait from its sources without paying the costs. If this effect played, place a Digimon as the top security card. So it's good for defense because it's healing you and placing a 15k DP body on the top of your deck immediately, which most cards won't be able to swing into without dying, which feels really good. However, something of importance to note, as I mentioned prior, the immunity effect doesn't last during your opponent's turn. So if you swing in and you don't proc the end of attack, you're just gonna have a 15k DP body with 2 aces underneath it, and that's not exactly great. Luckily, however, your level 6s are fucking crazy. So if you spit them out, you'll have done 2 checks, spit out your 2 boys, they're now chilling, the Crest Grumamon protects, which is fantastic, and if it's still your turn, you can immediately DNA into another Omnimon Alter S, swing in, spit the 2 out, do it again and again and again and again until you're out of Omnimon Alter S's in hand, which is why you need like a critical mass of the new Alter S, because they are really good for like just doing multiple checks in a single turn. As well as the older Alter S, I think is the ideal one to sit on your opponent's turn. You want a critical mass in your hand as well, because let's say we did pass turn, we swung with this guy, end of attack, we spit out 2 bodies, the 2 level 6s that we mentioned. We pass, if our opponent attempts to remove them through effects of any kind, we can immediately DNA Digivolve into another Omni Alter S, delete all of your opponent's highest level, and now you're immune to Digimon effects. Or you can go into the other one, which removes 2 bodies, and if you're ever removed full stop, you will then be able to just immediately spit those 2 bodies back out again. And those effects obviously aren't once per turn. The only thing holding you back is the amount of cards in your hand. Great package. I think that these new Omnimon, Blitzcrank, and Crest cards are so good. So very good. But enough gushing about them. Let's move on to Tokomon. Your turn. When the Digimon card with face down Digivolution sources would Digivolve into a version trait. Version 3 trait Digimon card, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. I think this is probably the most versatile but weakest effect so far between these 3. These ones can let you cheat out an evolution that you normally wouldn't be able to with the amount of memory you have, whereas this one says, hey, you have to like essentially spend this proactively and hope that you can keep turn before you continue up, which is okay. It's still a good effect. I mean, just reduce the cost of an Evo by 1 whenever you would Evo is good, even once per turn. Elecmon is the same as the prior rookies with training, but this one says all of your opponent's Digimon get minus 3k DP, which is okay. It's not super impactful. We got the Patamon, same as the other ones, but other rookies, but it gives version 3 instead of version 2 or 1. It also gives Barrier, Roz, and Hair, which I think is really good. We've got the new Airdramon training, version 1. When attacking, by placing your deck's top card face down as Digimon's bottom Digivolution source, one of your opponent's Digimon give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 2k for the turn for each of this source's Digivolution cards. Fantastic. I really like it a lot. As just like an early game removal. Unfortunately, it's a one attacking, so it's bad. If this was when Digivolving, I'd be completely okay with it. But because it's a one attacking, I actually really dislike it. The only benefit this card brings is the fact that it is Barrier. Anyways, the new Angemon, version 2, kind of disrespectful for version 3, considering, you know, hello? I'm version 3 Tokomon, and then Patamon is version 3, Why is Angemon version 2? I understand that they're probably doing it in the order they were naturally released, but still disrespectful. Poor guys. Training on play when Digivolving, by placing one Digimon card in your hand face down. As bottom Digivolution source, give one of your opponent's Digimon sec -1 and -3k DP for the turn. One of the weird level 4s that don't actually care about the amount, it just cares about you actually doing the effect. And then on deletion, if you have 3 of your security cards, recover 1. I think this card is really interesting. It's definitely got a very cool inherited effect. I think we very rarely see inherited effects like that these days. So having more options for recovery, I think feels really good for those players who haven't played yellow since the armor vaccine days. Sorry for the bout of silence there. I just randomly took a bite of my food for some reason. I have no self-control whatsoever. I saw it sitting there. I was like, I gotta have a piece of that right now. 3 cost Evo. 3 cost play. Really notable. The last time we've seen a good 3 cost play card was the Numemon deck. And this card does start with an N, called Nanimon. And while this technically not a Digimon, I'm excited to see what he can do. End your return, once returned by placing 3 Digimon card with version 4 trait from your trash face down as its bottom Digivolution sources. It may Digivolve into a Digimon card with version 4 trait in the hand of trash. Really, really good effect. Fantastic effect. I do like it a lot. Unfortunately, it requires a huge amount of cards. 3 is not a small amount, especially in yellow. Being able to get that many out so cheaply is a little bit difficult. But again, these are DM version 4. So perhaps in the future, there are down here some purples that work very well for setting up your trash, and you can make use of them very easily. Unimon version 3, training when when attacking, must return by placing 1 card in your hand face down as a Digivolution source. Bottom Digivolution source. You may have, if you have as many or fewer cards, security cards as this Digimon has face down Digivolution sources, recover 1. Then when attacking, get 2k DP for the turn. I didn't say what this guy's was, which is give all your opponents security Digimon -3k. Really cool. You know, getting recovery 1 is interesting. The fact that it happens on a level 4 makes it a lot more difficult. If everything goes well, by the time that you get this guy out, he'll have 2 sources so far with the cards that we've seen. He'll have 2 sources. So, not exactly great for recovering when you're at full life, but definitely like a good recovery mechanic should you be missing a couple checks. Moving on to the Andromon, great arts again, fantastic as always. The same Cyborg effect that we saw prior, place 1 Digimon card from your trash face down as bottom Digivolution source. One of your opponent's Digimon gets -3k DP for the until the end of their turn, or until their turn ends. Yeah, there we go. And then if it further gets -2k for each of its face down Digivolution sources. So when you Digivolve in this guy, let's say you went into the Unimon or one of your other level 4s that place a card underneath, realistically you'll have 2 sources, so you'll have 3 sources total, meaning you'll do a -7,000 DP to one of your opponent's Digimon. I think this was a lot weaker than the other 2, unfortunately. It does have the blocker inherit, which the other ones did not. Yeah, just sec +1, unspend it end a turn, and then blocker. But I think there are better ways to get blocker inside of the Machine Digimon archetype, and inside of DM, this card's also still kind of just lackluster. We do have a new Edamon card, though, speaking of Nume and Suka and whatnot. This one has a very similar effect to the Cyborgs, but this one specifies when you have any of your version 3 trade Digimon would Digivolve into this card. For each of their face down Digivolution sources, reduce the cost by 1. A fantastic payoff for the archetype as a whole. Again, assuming you go into your rookie for 0, you get Elecmon to train, and then you go into Unimon for 1 using one of the eggs. I don't remember what egg Unimon works with, but using Unimon to go into one of the eggs for 1, getting another card there, and then you Digivolve for cost 3 or level 4 DM trait for cost 4, so you Digivolve into this guy for 2. Really nice. They got sec +1, and then when Digivolving when attacking, by trashing one of this Digimon's bottom Digivolution sources, recover 1. Great. I think this card's fantastic, honestly. It also works with Sukamon to some extent, but its effect needs bottom face down Digivolution sources. So Sukamon itself is not actually synergizing with this Edamon the best of its capabilities. The only benefit it has is it costs 1 less naturally. And this card is just a sec +1 Edamon in that deck. All turns when your security stack is removed from one of your opponent's Digimon gets -4 KDP for the turn. Also completely fine. Very like Valkyrie Ace in a way. And then that is it for the yellow cards, unfortunately. We are currently skipping the puppet stuff. We will come back to them. But let's move on to green now. We've got Tanemon. Your turn when any of your version 4 trait Digimon are played by trashing this Digimon's bottom face down evolution source, gain a memory. So this one's getting rid of your sources, unfortunately. Kunimon, same as other rookies, gains piercing. Palmon works for version 4 and gives, when attacking suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. The Pumumon here is Wind Guardian, so Wind Guardian, I don't remember if that's the actual thing, so we'll just call them WGs from now on. We'll stop by them later. Training on play when Digivolving by placing one card in your hand face down as the bottom Digivolution source. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. It can't unspend during the next unsuspend phase. A completely fine card. When attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Again, another completely fine effect. Not super impactful. Nothing crazy there. Kuwaga on play when attacking by placing one card in your hand face down as its bottom Digivolution source. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. It can't unsuspend in their next unsuspend phase. Piercing. Just basically the same card. The only difference is this one's version 2 and this one's, I believe, version 4. Yeah. So, not too big of a deal. The Dark Tyrannomon, though, another huge card from the Tamers anime. I think it was one of the ones that we saw. I think he evolved into Metal in like the very first episode, and that was really interesting and cool for the card game. On play with Digivolving, you may place one card in your hand face down as bottom Digivolution source. Then for each of your your Digimon's face down Digivolution cards, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then one of your Digimon may attack your opponent's Digimon. This is version 5. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I did version 5 here. I'm so embarrassed. Fuck, I said I was saving version 5 for later. Oh god, this one's version 5 too. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, guys. Oh jeez. Just pretend like you even see that one. This one, oh jeez. Oh jeez. Oh wow, so green got shafted. Outside of version 5, which will be, I think version 5 in my opinion is one of the stronger variants, if we're not counting like the Blitz Gray, Crest Gray, and Omnimon Ultra stuff. So, yeah, we will go ahead and do the WG stuff. Actually, I don't know if WG is in any of the other colors, so we'll come back to WG as well. But that does bring us to version 5, which means we can do a lot of the cards that we just mentioned prior now. So Pokemon, when attacking, once per turn, by trashing this card's bottom face down Digivolution source, this Digimon may Digivolve into a version 5 Digimon in the trash. The Digivolution cost reduced by 1. So this one is one of the stronger ones. I think this one has the argument to be one of the strongest ones. It has the ability to Digivolve from trash, which is really, really good recursion. Fantastic recursion, even. So, now we know what the egg does, which is one lets us Digivolve from trash. Let's go ahead and start working our way up with the version 5. So we're actually just going to do V.5, because they're all... version 5 is spread out in a lot of the different colors. It's VER.5, okay. So version 5 is spread around, I think, the most colors? 4? So we got Gizamon, training. When attacking, trash bottom Digivolution source of one of your opponent's Digimon. Completely fine. Nothing crazy. Especially in this version 5 deck, I don't think it's going to see too much use for it, but like in the bluer decks maybe, and same goes for like Fish, because it is a sea animal card. Though I'm not sure how much they're missing an effect like that. And then on play here, same as other rookies, but this one gives Retal instead of otherwise. Now we're moving on to the level 4s. We've got the Tuskmon here, training when Digivolving when attacking, by placing one card in your hand face down as a bottom Digivolution source to delete one card with your opponent's DP with 4 KTP or less, as well as it gives Raid Inherit. Fantastic. Dark Tyrannomon, on play when Digivolving, you may place one card from your hand face down as a bottom Digivolution source. For each of these face down Digivolution sources, spend one of your opponent's Digimon, then one of your Digimon may just immediately attack, which also feels really good. Being able to just play this guy out for 5, then swing in with one of your level 6s by spending one of your opponent's Digimon feels great. And then level 4 here, we've got the Raremon, end of turn by placing 3 cards with the version 5 trait from your trash face down as its bottom Digivolution source. It may Digivolve into a card with version 5 and a trait in your hand or trash, and then on deletion Digivolve 1. And then this one had on deletion, spin one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. 2, I think, really good on deletion effects, in all honesty. Punishing your opponent for deleting you feels great, and then also, again, stopping your opponent from killing you, potentially, is also really good. And then finally, the last level 4 is the Devydramon. Training, when Digivolving, when attacking. By placing one card from your hand face down as bottom Dilution Source, just draw one. A good effect. I like it. Just cycles a useless card that you don't need just to immediately get something good. And then it can recur multiple times with the one attacking. And then on deletion, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon, also a completely fine effect. The cards that you're typically using the Pagumon to Digivolve into for the one attacking are the Metal Tyrannomon here, which is same as other Cyborg traits, but gets the when on play when Digivolving effect by placing one Digimon card from your trash face down as a Digivolution card to one of your opponent's Digimon. Digivolve one for each of the Digimon's face down Dilution sources, then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3k or less, and then gives Piercing. Just even just by itself, just being a Digivolve one feels really good. You really like that a lot. And any extra you get on top of that is also still good. Deleting a level 3, deleting a 3k or less is also got nice quality. And then we've got the X Tyrannomon, similar to the Etamon from prior, but this one specifies version 5 trait. You have Fortitude on it, which is also really good. I'm not sure how Fortitude works with the bottom face down cards, but on play when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then by trashing this Digimon's bottom face down Digivolution Source, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon with the lowest DP to the hand. Non-specific removal, fantastic. That can happen twice. If you had a way to get another bottom face down Digivolution's card underneath, using your rookie that searches to place in an extra source underneath for the on play to turn back on your Fortitude, which I believe still works. Great. And then all turns the Digimon deletes your opponent's Digimon in battle. Trash top security card. Classic level 5 green effect for their inherit. And then the card that I think really sells version 5 for me as the best of these so far, as like a generic archetype, is the Machine Dramon, which is version 5. And on play when Digivolving when attacking, once per turn, by placing one level 5 Cyborg or version 5 trait card from your hand or trash, as is Digimon's top Digivolution source, not face down, just you place it on top of your Digivolution sources. Activate one on play effect on the place card as an effect of this Digimon, which is fantastic. You got the Digivolve, you've got suspend in bottom deck, you've got the on play suspend and then attack, you've got the on play search if you want to search a little bit more. Just great choices going for yourself. But that also means all the other Cyborg cards you've had. So the Metal Greymon, the Metal Mamamon, the Andromon, as well as all the prior support that Machine Dramon has received up to this point, I think makes version 5 the most fleshed out of all the archetypes. Then it has all turns when it would leave the battle area by trashing 2 of your face down Digivolution sources or Cyborg trait Digimon. It doesn't leave. Just good. Just real good. And then it even has Assembly 6, which is 4 level 5 Cyborg trait cards with different names. When you would play it, it's basically crossing, but you can cross from trash underneath it, reducing the play cost by 6. You play it out for 6, then you get an extra on-play effect of your choice from your hand or trash from any of your version 5 or any of your Cyborgs that are level 5 or lower. And then it's also very difficult to remove, because all turns is not once per turn. All turns when the Digimon would leave the battle area by trashing its bottom 2 face down Digivolution sources or Cyborgs. And because you're placing, let's say, 4 Cyborgs underneath, they already have to delete it 3 times. That's a lot of times to delete a guy. That's not easy to do. Very, very good card. I actually like it as a support for what Machine Dramon has been missing for so long. But yeah, great, fantastic. Let's go ahead and do black as a quick finish here. We've got new Sukamon, end of your turn, same as the other end of turns, gives blocker. New Numemon, end of turn, same as the other ones, but this one works for version 1, this one works for version 3. This one also gives blocker. Monochromon, on play when attacking by placing 1 card from your hand face down, Digivolve 1 of your opponent's Digimon 1. Version 4, blocker, inherit. A new Mamamon, Mutant DM version 1, on play. When Digivolving, reveal top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 level 4 or lower DM trait card among them. Generic effect, not just specific to the version. Without paying the cost for each of this Digimon's face down Dilution sources, add 1 to this effect's play cost maximum. Return the rest to the bottom of the deck. Crazy good. I think this is one of the biggest payoffs for getting cards in your sources. It may even make using trainings in your breeding area important. Being able to get an extra like 2 or 3 cards underneath as a bottom Digivolution source is fantastic. Being able to play out like anything with 7 cost, it means like an immediate level 5, and because you're revealing top 3 and your archetype will obviously be built around this, you'll be able to like hit an ace really well, you'll be able to hit a lot of different things. It being on play doesn't have much utility because it can only work for level for 4 cost or less DM trait cards. However, I think that also synergizes with, no, this is an adventure, unfortunate, but you know, it makes sense anyways. And then when attacking, the Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, pretty good. And then High Andromon Ace, hand counter on play when Digirolling by placing one 8,000 DP or lower Digimon as a bottom Digivolution source, or the bottom security card. My bad. Used to the sources being in play here. Trash your opponent's top security card. Completely fine. A removal spell that also trashes an opponent's security, or like a recovery spell that also trashes an opponent's security. On play or when they're drawing all turns. Whenever your version 3 trait Digimon would leave the battle area by trashing your top security card, they don't leave. It's just once per turn. So it's like a slightly worse Dominimon that works with version 3 cards. Going on to the Ogre here, version 3, when Digirolling when attacking by placing 1 card in your hand face down and its bottom Digivolution source card, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. When attacking, draw 1 and trash 1 card. Completely fine, nothing crazy. The new Devimon version 1, training when attacking by placing your deck's top face down card. I love it when they do the deck instead of the hand, because, you know, resource management and whatnot. Delete one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon. For every 2 of his face down Digivolution sources, add 1 to the maximum effect. Realistically, it's going to be level 4 at most, but I mean, if you really want to stack your guy up, absolutely king, go ahead. We got the new Skullgreymon, version 2 Undead, not Adventure, as of note. This card is treated as a level 4 for Chimeramon's Assembly effect, which we will get to Chimeramon at some point. On play when Digirolling, for each of these Digimon's face down Digivolution sources, trash top card of your deck. Then you may return 1 DM trait card from your trash to your hand, just as a means of finding your pieces is completely okay, nothing crazy. Then on deletion, you may play 1 level 4 or lower DM trait Digimon from your trash from your hand without paying the cost. Then on deletion, inherit, you may play 1 level 4. It's the exact same as its current on deletion. Really good card. I actually like the on deletion a lot. And it being a recursion piece, even just like as an on play, also feels pretty decent. The new Digitama for version 4, it's got Scapegoat, which is really nice. It works the same as the Edamon prior, but only for version 4. So when you're attacking by placing this Digimon's top face down Digivolution source, by trashing it, you may play 1 play cost level 4 lower trait Digimon card from your trash with paying the cost. Fine. It also got Alliance as an inherit, which I think is really good inherit. Another cyborg here for the archetype that we mentioned prior. It works prior cyborgs. On play with Digirolling by placing 1 Digimon card from your trash face down as bottom's Digivolution source. Delete 2 of your opponent's play cost 4 or lower Digimon for each of this Digimon's face down Digivolution source. Add 1 to the maximum play cost that you will be able to delete. End of attack by unspelling this Digimon. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. Just good. Just good. And it's also got the good art here. Peek. Really good art here. Peek. Then you have the new Titamon Ace for version 4. It's also got Scapegoat, counter, level 5, DM trait for 3, or purple-green. On play when Digirolling, you may play 1 level 4 or lower DM trait card from your trash without paying the cost, just decent. Then all turns, all of your version 4 Digimon gain blocker and Retail, very like Minervamon-esque effect. Very, very nice. Great. Well, now that we did all of the versions, let's talk some shop. We've got 3 more cards to talk about for the version archetypes. This one's for version 5, kind of, but it specifies Cyborg a lot as well. It's the new Analog Man. Start returns memory setter for 4. Set your memory to 3. Your turn when any of your play cost 7 or higher Cyborg machine or DM trait Digimon are played. By suspending this tamer, draw 1 and gain a memory. Then you may place 1 card from your hand face down as any one of those Digimon's Digivolution sources. So this synergizes really well with a lot of their on-play effects, like let's say the Giga Dramon here, allowing you to delete 2 level play cost 5s, though there are, I think, more impactful ones like the Metal Mamemon here by placing 1 of your Digimon card face down to trash from one of your opponent's Digimon. Trash any one Digivolution card from one of your opponent's things for each of your face down Digivolution sources, then return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the deck. Because of you can order the effects as you want. You can do essentially 2 sources, which is really, really nice, even if you're just hard playing this guy for 7. But realistically, you also cheat him out for 5, meaning that you also get 8 draw and then a bunch of other effects going, which is really good. I'm not sure this will see a lot of play in the Machine Digimon deck, but I mean, the obvious idea is that you're going to be using cyborgs to continuously place more cyborgs in the grave and trying to get like good on-play effects in order to like slow the game down until you're ready to use the assembly effect of your machine. Is like one of the, I think, obvious ways of playing the deck. We have a new analog use for 3. Start your main phase, you may place 1 card from your hand face down as any of your DM trait Digimon's bottom evolution sources. Just a good generic card for all 5 of the archetypes. Your turn, when any face down cards are placed as any of your Digimon's evolution sources by spending this tamer, gain a memory. Then if you have 7 or fewer cards in hand, draw a card. Disgustingly good. Then opponent's turn, all of your Digimon face down evolution sources gain reboot. Fantastic tamer. Even without that extra effect at the end, I think that's just like a cherry on top. Not super impactful or necessary. The second effect is super good, and the first effect would be, I think, probably one of the strongest effects in this set if there were more cards that cared or had stronger effects based off of how many bottom facing Digivolution sources you had. But it just being able to just gain you a memory and a draw every turn as you kind of exist, it feels great. feels fantastic. It reminds me a lot of the new Tagaru from BT21, because it's just cycling you continuously for pieces and then giving you some like incremental advantages, which also will proc. Let's say your opponent is making you attack start of main phase, it will proc this Sunomon immediately by placing a card underneath, which I think is really interesting and cool. Or it'll set up your other eggs to actually use yourself like the one attacking eggs, which is really cool. Then we've got the Chimeramon here. Rush, Sec +1, on play with Digivolving, you may place 1 level 4 or lower trait Digimon card from your trash as Digimon's top Digivolution source, then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the same color as any of the Digimon's Digivolution cards. If Digimon has 6 or more colors in its Digivolution cards, instead delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a different color. So, key point to note, if you have 7 cards, 7 colors in this guy's sources, unfortunately, you won't be able to delete any of the Digimon with those 6 or more, my bad. 6 or more colors in those sources. You won't be able to delete any of those with 6 or more. So basically, you'll be able to delete 1 color of Digimon. At 5 or lower, though, you'll be able to delete 5 different colors of Digimon, which is really nice. And all turns, Digimon gets plus 1k for each color and its evolution sources. And then it has Assembly 7 for 7 level 4 DM trait cards with different names. This card is, I think, everything for the DM trait archetypes. It is everything you'd want. Just being able to play this guy out for 3, place a bunch of cards underneath, get a bunch of different inherited effects, and then, you know, get a little bit extra there to then pop something completely different or something that doesn't share a color with you. It's going to be fucking massive as well. Anywhere from like realistically like 4,000 DP to upwards of 7,000 DP is really, really nice. And it just having Rush Sec +1, it's just going to be the card that you're going to be using to clear games. Hybrid for game, but instead it just Chimeramon swing in. If it survives, cool. It's threatening enough and it's a removal spell. They kind of got to remove it. If they remove it, you can Chimeramon again because all those cards in your sources will just immediately go back to the trash and you can just play them out for 3 again. As long as you have a way to get 3 memory every single turn or cheat this guy out in any meaningful way, it's disgusting. It's really, really gross. And I think this card has the potential to be the reason that any DM archetype deck is played. And then we'll do the free option here. This card is DM, so we'll finish it up with the DM section. While you have no face-up security cards, you can ignore the card's color requirements. All turns, all of your DM trait Digimon get plus 1k for DP for each of their face-down Digivolution sources. Completely okay, like nothing crazy. In fact, I would say it's like meh. And then you add your bottom security card to your hand, then place the card as face-up as the bottom security card. Security effect, you may play 1/5 cost or lower DM trait from your hand or trash while paying the cost. It's fine. It's a fine card. I don't think it's anything crazy, though. Whew. Okay. That's the DM trait stuff. I'll save off on the Negamon stuff, because I think it's probably the most powerful. We'll start with the weakest stuff, I think, which is the WG archetype. So we got Pokemon stuff. Your turn when this Digimon would Digivolve into WG trait, reduce the cost by 1. All turns gets plus 1k DP. It's fine. Nothing crazy. Parasaurmon, blocker, all turns with Digimon suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, plus 1k all turns. It's, again, fine. Tropiumon. On play with Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then one of their Digimon can't unsuspend until their turn ends. All turns when effects suspend any of your WG trait Digimon. This Digimon may Digivolve into a WG trait card in hand without paying the cost. Inherit end of your turn one of your Digimon the WG trait unsuspend. I think this card's really good. Being able to just cheat into a level 6 is fantastic. I think it's one of the more impactful things. I wish it said WG or Vegetation, but I'm assuming they just don't want to like give Vegetation that kind of support right now. And then Hydramon, whenever you play this card, very similar to the Edamon stuff, except you just suspend one of your WG trait Digimon to reduce the play cost by 4. On play with Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, then one of their Digimon or Tamers can't unsuspend until their turn ends. Your turn when one of your Digimon are played or Digivolved. If any of them have the WG trait, 2 of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve into a WG trait Digimon card in hand. The obvious line is Parasaur into Tropio. Tropio, you spend one of your opponent's Digimon, then you're chilling. You keep turn, you play this guy out for fucking 7, you suspend your Tropio. Tropiomon Digivolves into the other WG level 6, which I don't remember what it is right now. Let's go look at what the other WG level 6 is. It's the Puppet Ace or the Griffomon, which are fine cards. Just the Digimon bottom deck, and then the Griffomon, which is like Alliance when Digivolving, play at level 4 when attacking. But the main reason you do that is so that way you can Digivolve DNA specifically right into Cernumon. Passing turn, Alliance blocker. You may play 1/7 cost or lower WG trait card from your hand while paying the cost. Sucks that it's from hand, but it's fine. Then if DNA Digivolving, you may return up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the deck. Pretty decent removal. All turns when any of your WG trait Digimon would leave the battle area. Other than in battle, you may play 1/7 play cost 7 or lower Digimon trait card from your hand without paying the cost. The fact that it's from your hand again sucks. I think if it wasn't from hand, there was like a potential reason of being like, oh, actually, it's pretty nice, but it being from hand specifically means that you can run out of pieces very, very fast. Next we'll do Puppet. Puppet. New Puppet support, PogChamp. Honeymoon, on play, trashing 1 card in your hand, you may return 1 Digimon card with the Puppet trait from your trash to your hand. Decent effect, especially because you're cheating out your puppets so easily. And then on your opponent's turn, when any of your opponent's Digimon attack by deleting one of your other Digimon, and that attack, really good effect. I really like that effect a lot, actually. Because again, you'll have so many tokens available to you that you can just kill one and save yourself. Kokeshimon, when Digivolving on deletion, by trashing 1 card in your hand, one of your opponent's Digimon get minus 4k DP for the turn. Pretty mad effect, nothing too crazy there, but it isn't on deletion, meaning that if you cheat it out, you can at least get that minus 4k, very similar to like a token there. And then opponent's turn, when one of your Digimon, when one of your opponent's Digimon attacks by deleting one of your other Digimon and the attack, again, just a really good inherent effect. I do like that inherent effect. I do think the Honeymon is currently better, but this one has some niche utility. The Edamon is a puppet, but you know we don't really care too much about that. Karakurumon. On play on Digivolving by deleting one of your tokens or other puppet trait Digimon, Digimon may Digivolve into a puppet trait card with the puppet trait in hand without paying the cost. So just being able to go Hani for 2. Oh, not Hani, Kokeshi for 2, and then immediately playing out Karakuru, deleting the Kokeshi, giving another minus 4k, so minus 8,000 total to one of your opponent's Digimon for the turn, and then immediately Digivolving this guy. Really, really good. Into any of your puppet trait, including your Centrals. That's a lot of really good Digimon that you have options to go straight into. All turns when this Digimon would leave the battle area, other than by your effects by deleting one of your other tokens or other puppet trait Digimon, it doesn't leave, and it has protection. A beautiful, beautiful level 5 card. We do stan it. We do love it. And then the new level 6 for the archetype, Kaguyamon. All turns, all of your tokens and puppet trait Digimon gain Alliance and Blocker. Beautiful. Really, really, really good effect. A lot of time your puppets aren't super useful, and being able to delete them to stop your opponent from killing you is really good, but being able to make them also blockers and give them Alliance is really, really nice. That also includes this Digimon, obviously, so being able to get out a token, swing in, do 2 checks at a higher DP feels fantastic. All turns, once per turn, when other Digimon are deleted, delete one of your opponent's lowest level Digimon. That's crazy. With the inheritance that we've seen so far, that's really, really gross. And then end of your turn, you may play 1 level 4 lower puppet trait card from your trash without paying the cost. Fantastic. Like, I cannot express to you how good this card is. And it has Liberator trait. So it's integrated with all the other Liberator stuff. This card is crazy. And honestly, exactly what Puppet would want. It gives you bodies on field. It makes those bodies better in every way you can imagine. It gives you the ability to proactively use those bodies with things like overclock, while also getting rid of your opponent's stuff. And the tokens that you have on field and the puppets you have on field that are protecting this Digimon are also removal spells should your opponent get rid of one of them. An insanely good card. Insanely good card. And then finally the Tamer. On play, reveal top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Puppet or Liberator trait, and then add return the rest to the bottom. When any of your Digimon digivolve into a Puppet trait Digimon, by returning this Tamer to hand, or to the bottom of the deck, I mean, may play 1 Arisa Kinosaki, or 1 Puppet trait card from your hand with a play cost reduced by 3. Just good. Just good. Just really good. just very good, honestly. Getting out Arisas is really good, but also just being able to spit out a Puppet for a cost reduced by 3 is also really nice. You get the immediate value of the search, and then even in the same turn, being able to turn that search into, hey, I'm also gonna get a free body on field of any amount, and that includes the level 7. Let's say you digivolve into Kokeshi for 2, and then you play this guy out for 4 by bottom decking this, and then you get your level 6. That's crazy. If you went, let's say, just the baseline we've got here. Honey in the back, play out the Tamer, search. Next turn, your opponent puts you to 1. Okay, you promote Kokeshi, you digivolve for 2. Kokeshi, give minus 4k to something. Let's say it doesn't delete. Let's say it's like a level 5. Whatever, doesn't matter. Level 6. Even if there's something on board, it's completely fine. Anyways. Mirai, trigger. Bottom deck, play out Karakuru, delete the Kokeshi, give them a minus 4 or something else, or minus 8k to something, one thing. Then digivolve for free immediately into Kaguya, and then get all the Kaguya effects to proc. Mind you, you won't have any tokens out at this point in time with just this line that I mentioned, but I'm sure there are other puppets that you could use, hypothetically from the other puppet stuff, that would give you tokens really early on that you can make immediate use of. Just great. Just great. Turn 2, level 6, cheating out so much memory. I think that this is a insanely powerful set of support for puppet liberators and puppets in general. Well, that is almost everything. We are only down 1 more card left, or 1 more set of cards left. The new Negamon supports. So, the new egg. Breeding, main. You may place 1 Digimon card with Negamon in its text from your hand with the play cost reduced by 2. You may play it with the play cost reduced by 2 for each Negamon in your trash or Digimon's evolution sources. Further reduce it by 1. Then place this Digimon as a play Digimon's bottom evolution source. So immediately, let's just say you start off, you can just play out your guys for a cost reduced by 2, which is good. As you've seen, like Royal Knights and Demon Lords, being able to reduce the play cost of things essentially for free feels fantastic. Then breeding all turns. Digimon can't digivolve and effects can't delete or trash it. So no Gizamon effects can delete it or trash it. And I'm a little afraid by this line of text just because of the fact that that may mean there are cards in the future that will be deleting or trashing the Negamon, which means there may be cards in the future that delete or trash cards in your breeding area, and that's a little spooky. And then it has the inherent effect opponent's turn. Once per turn, when any of your opponent's Digimon attacks, you may change the target to one of your Digimon with the Negamon card in trash. And so, assuming, let's say, we play out the Soundbirdmon for 1 by placing this card underneath, the Soundbirdmon gets deleted. Next turn, you hatch because you are not only hatching, but also you can promote in the exact same turn. That Soundbirdmon gets deleted. Now, the next time you would play out a Digimon, it is a reduced cost of 4 for the next one, which is really good. Speaking of Soundbird, on play, reveal top 3 cards to your deck. Add 1 card with Negamon in its trait and 1 Digimon with Abadomon. Abadomon? A bad mon in its name from among them to your hand. Bottom deck the rest. All turns gain plus 1000 DP. Just a good searcher. The new Eismon. Rush. Collision. On deletion, you return 1 Digimon card with Negamon in its trait. And its text from your trash to your hand. That could be any of you or guys, or even your eggs, just being able to cycle them back again. Assembly 3 with 4 scatter mode. When this Digimon will be played by placing the specified cards from trash underneath it, reduce the play cost. You place 4 scatter mode underneath. you get this reduced by 3, and then if you also use a Negamon, you will also reduce it just immediately by 2, potentially by 4. This can get a little scary because it becomes a 0-cost rush collision Digimon. But, you know, we'll see. It also Digivolves for 1 drop of any scatter mode. Scatter mode is a 5 play cost. On play by trashing 1 card with Negamon in its text from your hand, draw 2. Really good. And all turns get plus 1k DP. Just good. Just really good. Reminds me a lot of the Gizamon. And then something really interesting with this card is that you can play up to 50 copies of cards with the card's number in your deck. I doubt you'll be playing 50, but nonetheless, I mean, you'll probably be playing a good amount of these because they're just a good cycle engine for your deck. And you'll need at least 4 of them in trash to actually get the maximum use out of this Eismon. And then up next, we've got the new level 5, the Raremon. On play with Digivolving, Digivolve 1 of your opponent's Digimon. Just a completely fine effect. And then on deletion, you may play 1 level 4 or lower Digimon card with Negamon in its text from your hand without paying the cost for every 2 Negamon in your trash or your Digimon's Digivolution sources. Add 1 to this effect's maximum level. So if you have all 4 eggs in trash, you can play out a level 6 without paying the cost, which is really good. I think this is a really strong on deletion effect. I think the only question is how quickly can you get this effect online to actually be mattering. And then all turns inherit once per turn. When attack target changes, if this Digimon has a Battlemon in name, it unsuspends. Pretty good. Good for collision and good for blocking. Next, we've got a Battlemon. On play with Digivolving, if there are 4 more total Negamon in your trash and your Digimon's Digivolution sources, you may play 1 Battlemon core from your hand or trash to your empty breeding area without paying the cost. End of all turns by placing 1 level 6 or lower Digimon card with Negamon in straight from your trash as Digimon's top Digivolution card. Delete 1 of your opponent's Digimon with the same level as the place card, and then assembly 6 for 4 Negamon. When this card would be played by placing the specified cards underneath it, reduce the play cost. Mind you, interesting enough, let's say this is your 4th Negamon in breeding. If you play it out, it reduced by 2, and then for the other 3, it reduced by another extra 6, so total 8. However, I think because of the way the card's worded, if there are 4 more total Negamon in your trash and your Digivolution sources, so ignoring the assembly, you could actually play this card out for 8, place this Negamon underneath, and then get the effect, making it a 3 play cost instead of a 5 play cost, which is interesting. And the end of all turns effect is also really cool. Just being able to immediately delete 1 of your opponent's Digimon with the same level as the place card is really good. It also gives you options for kind of what you want, being getting more Raremon or getting just like the plus 1k DP that you need at the time. Now, let's talk about the interesting in the room. This guy places it in a bottle and core. He takes a core and he places it in your breeding area. What does that do? Well, breeding on your opponent's turn, when one of your Digimon attacks, when one of your opponent's Digimon attacks, by returning 4 Negamon in your trash or your Digimon's Digivolution cards to the bottom of the Digideck, the Digimon moves to the battle area. It's got collision, it's got piercing, it's got security attack plus 1, it's got reboot, it's got blocker, and then it's got a when moving effect. When moving? What the fuck? When moving, when Digivolving, when attacking. By placing 3 level 6 or lower cards with Negamon in their text from your trash as his bottom Digivolution sources, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. Kino, peak. Kino, peak. Peak, fantastic. Beautiful, lovely, sexy, hot, delicious. I love you so much. Kisses, 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 kisses. What are we looking at here, gang? I'm seeing a when moving effect. Now, Omekamon, the new Omekamon from BT21, or not BT21, from BT20, I don't remember which one it is. The one that says on play, become a Omni X that you can do whenever your opponent trashes a security, or removes a security from your security stack. You can use the Yggdrasil to play out from your Yggdrasil sources. Really, really, really good. However, there are a lot of ways to play around it. Your opponent can also play around when Digivolving on your turn with things like Venus They can stop when attacking with Venus. They can stop on plays. You know what? Nothing stops right now. When moving. This is such an insane tag that I love so much. This immediately turns this card from like a like this archetype's like pretty cool. It's like a 3 to like a unknown number. I don't know how impactful when moving will be, because it is a when moving that is like an ace effect, because your opponent triggers it when they attack. And if you're set up well enough, well, I mean, you can place like some rare mons in there. You know, that's really nice. Which means you got a double blocker, 15k double blocker, that also just lead all your opponents to this level, which they may not be able to play around. If your Royal Ice player doesn't have enough Magnamons to actually save itself, you just delete all their level 6s. Or all their level 7s. That's disgusting. Against Sakuya, I mean, their tokens don't have levels. And they're usually only getting out at level 6 or 7 to swing in and do stuff with. That immediately stops it. And they can't even be like, oh, well, Baldur stops it, or I can like maybe like stop it in some like weird way. No, it's a when moving effect. It's a when moving effect. It's a when moving effect. This is so cool. I love this so much. I'm sorry for gushing about Automon Core. I think this card's crazy cool. Obviously, it being locked to the archetype that it's in because it needs the 4 Negamon to actually work makes sense. I am sad about it because I would love to play this card in other decks as a great piece to save our lives. However, I think it is still really, really good. None of these cards are very generic. All of them are super, super xenophobic to any other archetypes, but I think that's okay. I think it's okay. I know people are like, oh, wow, another 50 card archetype. Wow, so interesting. Give me more Galacti, give me more Mother D Reaper, slurp, slurp, slurp. I think it's cool, guys. I think this is really cool. I think this is sick. But leave any comments down below if you guys have any questions or concerns, etc., etc. Thank you guys so much for watching this long-ass video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.